catch that rain.
You looking out a wet window pane. Too many raindrops hitting. Never did look past that rain. But there's a rainbow in it. Trust yourself and get with it. Stuck in hell is in living. Stick to the movement. This isn't you. Just let the past burn out. It's finished.
Alright, so I have slowly been plugging away at the trailer. Let's see, it's been about 2 months since I started working on the box. Mostly finished up the frame, didn't completely finish it up. Weather has been absolutely ruthless. It's been really hot for May and June, making it really difficult to work. Then we actually got monsoon started early in July, early this month, and so now pouring down rain. So yeah, it's actually raining fairly light right now, but it was raining pretty heavy a little earlier. But you know, you can't really paint in the rain. A little bit difficult. Anyway, but I do have to finish up the trailer. So what we're going to do today, we're going to mount the axles. So those are my Timbren axles. Got one for each side. So I'm going to go ahead. I finally got the frame, the garage picked up so I could flip the frame back over upside down. And I'm going to put the axles on. And we're also going to do the fenders, show you how I do the fenders. And then I think that'll be it for the frame, and then I can take it out of the garage here, slap some paint on it. Once I get the paint on it, then I'll actually be able to set the box up on top of it. And we'll bolt it down to the frame, and then we get to start the real work, or the fun work of getting the inside all set up. So anyway, here we go. Alright, so to put the Timbren axle on, you're going to need a few things. You're going to need the axle itself, of course, and the hardware. I actually don't have the hardware. The hardware to bolt it to the frame does not come with the axle because everyone's frame's a little bit different. So they don't send the hardware with you. You're going to have to buy the hardware for you. Now, you're going to need a tape measure, a calculator, a square, a marker, and a transfer punch. This to transfer the hole from the axle onto the frame. This is a 1/2 inch transfer punch. You can pick up a whole set of transfer punches at Harbor Freight for, I don't remember what I paid, $10 maybe, something like that. They're pretty cheap. And they're really handy for transferring holes. They got a little punch in the center to center that hole. You don't have to have it if you want to try to drill, I don't know, through the frame. It's a little harder to do that, and I usually end up boogering stuff up, so I prefer to use this. And then of course a hammer. So the first thing you're going to do, you're going to take the length of the frame and you're going to calculate it. You want your axle a 60-40 split. That means the axle is 60% back from the top front of the frame minus the tongue, or if you come the other direction, 40% from the back of it. So my frame's a little bit more, a little different than that. I've got a 9-foot frame, but the box itself is 10.5 feet long, with 6 inches hanging over the tongue, 12 inches over the back. So I need to figure out, do I want to use the 9-foot length? Do I want to use a 10-foot length? Or do I want to kind of split the difference? And I think I'm actually going to kind of split the difference. So let's get our calculator out here. Where's my calculator? There it is. All right, so let's say we'll go 10.5 feet, but we're going to do the full 10.5 feet. So if I go 126 times 0.6, that's 75.5 inches from the front of the box, which is 6 inches over. So let's subtract that 6 inches, and we're basically at 69.5 inches from the front to here. So let me write that down, 69.5. Okay, from the front. So let's say I want to do instead the 9 foot. That's what, 108 inches times 0.6 equals, that's 65 inches approximately. So I could go 65, anywhere probably from 65 to 69, and I'd be pretty safe. I think I'm going to go about 68 inches from the front of the trailer back. I should be pretty safe with that. So let's do that. So first thing you want to do, you want to bolt the spindle to the suspension. When you get this from Timbren, they come as two different parts. So you do have a little bit of wiggle room. That's for alignment purposes. So when you bolt this on, try to get it as square as you can. Get those holes all lined up, centered up, and get this on as square as you can. And then we'll adjust it from there. But we're going to just leave it like that for now. All right. All right. So move that out of the way. So we decided on 68 inches, right? So we're going to measure back here from the front. From the front of the frame, back to here. And take your square and draw a nice straight line down it. All right? All right, so that's your mark. Then what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to take your axle here, set it on the frame, and you're going to try to get the center of the spindle here as best as you can. There's a little hole right here. Maybe you can line it up there. I'm not quite sure what the best choices for this is, but do the best you can. What you're going to do is you're going to get this side set fairly close. Then you're going to actually measure and mark back to your bracket here, all right, to do the other side. And that way both sides should be nice and even. All right. If you look right here, this here actually arches out, makes a little round arch right there. And I think that it looks like it lines up to the center of the spindle here, which this hole is the center of the spindle right there. So it looks like that all lines up. So that's where I'm going to place it. I'm going to use that as my mark. You know, it doesn't have to be absolutely 100% accurate. You know, if you're within a few inches, you're good to go anyway. All right, so once you get that lined up, then what you want to do, come over here. What you want to do is you want to clamp your axle in. Clamp it really good. I forgot that. You need a couple of clamps too. Get your axle clamped nice and tight. Clamp it at both sides. Don't just clamp one side because your bracket might be a little bit bowed or whatever. You just want to make sure it's nice and solid. So when you drill those holes, they're really accurate. All right, and then once you got those holes drilled, you're going to take your center punch right here, or your transfer punch. It'll fit nicely in there. You can get it in there. And you're going to mark your hole. Then once you get that marked, we'll take the drill and drill it. So I'm going to go ahead and do that right now. All right, so I don't have it bolted in yet. It's just sitting there. It actually doesn't go there. It actually goes here. But I wanted to show the holes that I've got drilled. So we got 3 holes here. What is that? Let's see, 1, 2, and 3 right there. Then you got 3 holes here. So I had to weld this angle iron plate right here because there's 2 ways you can mount it. You can either bolt it here and then run a 1/4 inch 2x2 through both axles, because you need to have that cross support. Or if you can't do that, the other option is, and I think this is actually the preferred option, you put a piece of angle here and you actually bolt up through the bottom of the suspension. And then I'll probably weld some gussets on the other side of the angle, because it's kind of long here. I'll weld a couple gussets in between the bolts just to strengthen that. Should be really strong. Still got a couple welds to do here. Well, main reason I had to go this route. I think this is the preferred route, but I had to go this route primarily because I've got the tongue, or the trailer tongue on the bottom here, and in order to run a beam all the way across, I would have to cut a slot through my tongue, and I'm not willing to do that. So I got this all welded in, got the holes done. This side is done, other than a couple more welds on this. When I flip it over, I'll put the gussets on. But I got to work on the other side. But I think it's getting a little late, so I think I'm going to call it quits for the night and hit it tomorrow morning. All right. So once you've finished the one side, which I've got that side done, drilled, the axle's not bolted on yet, because I'm going to do the fenders next. Then you move over to the other side. So the way you do the other side, the exact same way. Now you want to get everything lined up perfect. So I measured back 68 inches and marked it right there. So that should be right on. I'm not going to do any drilling until I make sure everything is perfectly lined up. So yeah, so we'll get that clamped in, and then we're going to get the holes drilled, and the axle will be done. So that's that. All right, so check that out. Those are some good looking wheels. Those are the wheels that I'm putting on. Don't have the hubs in yet, but I do have the tires. I decided not to go with an off-road tire. I'm actually just going to go with a standard trailer tire. They're a nice tire. Got some good reviews. We'll try those out. See how they do. And then there's the fender that I'm putting on. So yeah, looks good. I think it's going to look really sharp. Alright. So I got the 4 main braces here cut. And they mount like so on here. Alright, so they're going to mount like so. Put one on the front up here. And they stick out like that, and then the fender, that should be like this. okay? And then the fender sets on top of them, and there'll be two tabs welded on each one. A little tab here, tab there, and the fender actually bolts to these, and it'll weld the fender on. All right. Now to make this look cool, I actually did this on my last trailer. So this will weld here like so. All right. And here, let's put a clamp on here to hold it for me. So that'll weld just like so. Then I'm going to cut some more of this, fairly long, and it'll sit at an angle like that. So let me show you. All right, so that's how it goes. So there's the axle right there. Then the fender piece, yeah, come on, focus. So this is the main piece that the fender actually always going to bolt to. It runs out here, and then I'm going to weld a piece like this, probably about that long. That actually looks pretty good, about like that. There'll be one in the front, one in the back, and that gives you like a little step if you need to step up on the roof or whatever to get stuff off the roof. The fender, the way the fender goes on, it's actually strong enough to stand on. So this gives you a step, so you can step up on that right there, and then step all the way up onto the fender. I don't usually put, some people actually put like a diamond plate piece in there. I actually like the way it looks opened up, but I don't know, we'll see. Maybe I'll change up this time, but probably not. Honestly, I kind of like just having the piece of rod there. So yeah, I like that. That'll look good. Be getting these done. So do you have a red dot?
Beeping or blinking? Yeah, blinking.
Hold on a sec. There. How's it look? Mm-hmm. Okay, so I've got the camper on the frame. So talk about how I did this. I actually didn't videotape doing it, but I'll tell you how I did it. So what I got here is I've got these two sawhorses, and that's what the box was sitting on, and they're actually wider than the frame itself. So I had the box sitting on those, then I set the frame on this cart here, and I rolled it right underneath the box. Once it was underneath the box, I was able to take a jack, and I started in the back here. I jacked up the back just high enough to get the sawhorse out from under it, and then I lowered it down, got the frame lined up, and then set it down on the frame. Then I came over to the front, did the same thing. I jacked it up, slid the sawhorse out from under it, lowered it down, got everything lined up, and then set it right down on the frame. It actually worked really well. I was able to do it myself. So that's how I got the frame under the box. And you have a phone call. Alright, so we're back. So yeah, so that's how I got the trailer onto the frame. It was very easy to do. I was able to do it myself. No heavy lifting at all. I actually had a couple jacks to help jack the frame up to get the jack stands under it. And then after we got it on the frame, coming here, I actually got the four corner bolts down. So if you want to show those there.
I can't get this.
So yeah, so we have the four corner bolts there, and then we got two in the back there.
All the way.
So those are 3/8 inch bolt. There's going to be 8 of those holding it on the frame. And then I got 1 1/2 inch bolt. I'm actually putting 2 1/2 inch bolts right here. This is actually a cross support in the floor.
See them down there?
So.
And there's one.
So yeah, so now it's on the frame.
Yep.
And then we'll fix that dial one more time to come out here. All right, so yeah, so I got the axles mounted. I put the axles on the frame without the box on it because they're easier to put on without the box. I'm gonna mount the spindles and the hub so I can put the tires on, and then it'll actually be sitting on its tires and I can move it around. So that's where we're at. All right, and that is the final product. This is actually the driver's side. Box is all mounted on the frame. Here's the fender, axle. See, I've got a couple of bolts on each side of the fender. It just bolts on. I use prefabricated fenders because I think they look really nice. And it's just a lot of work to create your own, so that was just simple. So the exterior is done. I actually got the windows in right now. Yeah. Go to the other side here. All right, and this is the other side. Looks good. That's the fender on the curb side, I guess this is. Got the door in place. Good looking fenders, I think. Wheels look good too. Got good ground clearance. Back up a little bit, get a nice big view of this. So that's the completed exterior. Next time, we'll work on the interior.